Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 13 of season 7 of our F124 Haas driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Silverstone, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. The engine blew up on me. We were in the lead, we were fighting for the win at our home Grand Prix, and just like Ferrari, when they let me down a few seasons ago here, Haas, they've got it done exactly the same thing. That has given Oscar Piastri quite the buffer once again at the top of the table. He got to about a 30-point lead. We brought it all the way down to pretty much zero. And then immediately he's been able to bring it back up again. Ferrari also leading the Constructors, just 3 points in it between them and McLaren. We could be on for a mega three-way Constructors Championship fight this year because we are only 20 points off the top with our Haas team as well. We return this weekend though to the Hungarian Grand Prix. And I genuinely can't remember the last time I drove this track inside F124, so this is going to be a very, very interesting one this afternoon. Of course, if you're new around here, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed to the channel. We want to try and hit 140k maybe before F125 comes out in just a couple of months as well. And also, if you want early access to all of these videos, you can help support us just a little bit more by clicking that join button down below. It costs just £1 a month. And yeah, massively helps us out here as well. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head to the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It is time for the drivers to dance on the edge. You are never resting, you are never still in qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix right here at the Hungaroring.
Well, I'm hoping Pierre Gasly is going to be pretty strong as well throughout this qualifying session. Of course, he took pole back at Monaco, and this place is often described as Monte Carlo. Without the barriers as well then, so let's wait and see what our teammate can do over 1 lap pace here. We need to try though and get our own car right towards the front of the order. Pole position last weekend at Silverstone. This admittedly, yes, is a slightly different venue to the British GP circuit last time out as we make our way up and towards turn 4. I mean, it is near enough flat out. It is completely flat if you absolutely nail it through there in this car, which is quite impressive. I'll be honest with you guys, but it's really the S's. Got to tap the curbs through there and then through these next set of corners. You really just got to try and hook it up nice and tidy there. Dance the car between the curbs as best as you can. You can see George Russell as always, that McLaren looking very planted as we make our way down in towards sector 3. Really trying to attack though on the brakes there, make up any time we can. A bit like Verstappen versus Hamilton back in Shanghai. If you watch their qualifying comparison from a couple of weeks ago there, but through the final corner then, it's going to be George Russell that storms to pole position. One of the biggest qualifying margins we've seen all year. We will line up P2 though, so yeah, I'm pretty happy. Well, there we go, George Russell almost dipping into the 1:11 there at the end of qualifying. We will end up 3/10 behind him though. Normally, qualifying in this series is dealt with in hundredths of a second, so 3/10 here is a really outstanding effort by our fellow Brit. Oscar Piastri will line up third just ahead of Charles Leclerc there, so 4 cars from 4 different teams making up your top 4. Pierre Gasly will be a bit disappointed down in P6 then, but neither Red Bull are able to get their cars inside the top 10 either, and no real other kind of surprises further down the grid. Let's head then into the race.
Button, Hill, Alonso and Kovalainen, the names of the drivers who had their breakthrough in Budapest, winning their first Grand Prix right here. We're about 12 miles northeast of the bustling Hungarian capital of Budapest. We have 14 corners that comprise the Hungaroring, and they are all steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been tough around here. It's a technical 2.7 mile track. The last few years in particular have been dramatic. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Firestarter completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Norris, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Fittipaldi, Hamilton, Teo Porcher, Tsunoda, Sargent, Perez, Ricciardo, Iwasa, Ocon, Behrman, Stroll, Vesti and Zhou Guanyu. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Well, lining up then down on the grid, and of course, yeah, it's so difficult to overtake around this venue. If ever I wanted to get a good race start, Monaco is first, Hungary is second, so let's wait and see what we can do today then. 35 laps though, this is really a race that feels more like a marathon than a sprint inside this game. As we wait then on the grid, 5 red lights have come on. Oh, a mighty long hole, but it is going to be lights out and away we go. There are neither Russell or myself has done well, but unlike back in Austria a couple of weeks ago, we will deny Oscar Piastri a bit of a passage in towards that first corner there. Can we try and have a look down the inside of the McLaren, man? We'll get a little bit caught out over the curbing there. Still wheel to wheel on the exits. Piastri maybe coming under pressure now from Charles Leclerc, a little bit behind, but that was absolutely critical off the start. We cannot afford to let Oscar Piastri cut through and get to the front of the order there. Leclerc's now gone past him. Fernando Alonso up into P5 as well. So now we've got 5 cars from 5 different teams in your top 5 early on. Must have been a pretty bad start from Pierre Gasly even to drop down the order a little bit more than I'd want to see from him. Pretty much immediately then, by the time you make it through turn 4, you are now a lot more worried about just trying to settle in here, get into a rhythm and a routine nice and quickly. Don't know how bad tyre wear is going to be. Don't know how bad tyre management is going to be either around this venue. So you want to ease this set of this medium compound tyre in early on in the race. Didn't really see anybody gambling. Oh, hello. There's grass there, Matt. Yeah, didn't really see anybody gambling with the softs. Team thought a 2-stop is viable here. But even then, they want to just use medium, hard. So maybe the soft compound just not a good race tyre around this venue. But either way, we've survived lap 1. No change in your top 2, but pretty much everybody behind has shuffled around. We're just a little bit closer this time around then. In through the final few corners, as long as we're in about half a second when we try and activate the DRS. Surely we're going to be able to get a run. See Russell as well, really struggling through those final couple of corners. So I think it's just a very warm day here, and this tractor's absolutely pounding the tyres as well then. 6/10 was the gap, but as we try and use as much battery as we possibly can back into turn 1, oh, Russell, he tries to go defensive, but a little bit too little too late. And there we go then, into the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. That is exactly what we need to be doing. Now, the focus switches. Can we just manage these tyres? We know Russell definitely is going to be much of a threat in a straight line, so we've just got to try and work on this there. He's actually got a good run though into turn 4, but not good enough. Well, I say that, Russell immediately actually is going to get the run on me back in towards turn 1 there. Try and get the nose back down the inside, and will he be able to get the power down off of the corner as well? He has done a very good job. Trying to have a look around the outside with the DRS. Oh, we're going to really try and force him out though. Through turn 3 and turn 4, you don't often get racing like this. Here at the Hungaroring again, the McLaren will just about give us the space side by side up in towards turn 4. Oh, we'll try and really squeeze each other there. Russell, no, what is that? George Russell runs off the road there to keep the position, and we've lost the end plate on the wing, and around here that'll be massive damage.
With the front wing, you've taken some minor damage.
Well, we've only got one choice now. We've got to try and go long on a set of the hard compound tyre there, but how can the AI do that? He gained the place by going off of the road against us, and then just comes back on and immediately brake checks me as well. That is so annoying in this Grand Prix, and well, I hope with F125 that they sort that out with the AI, because it is so frustrating. It happens so often inside this title there. Through the final couple of corners though, and into the pit lane we will go. We should come out in clear air at the rear of the pack.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell.
It's fine, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. 10-second penalty. It does not do us any favours, but it is not the end of the world. I swear it said we were literally doing 50 on the way in as well, and after the disappointment last weekend, I mean, this is just a comedy of errors now, isn't it? How much can go wrong in such a short time span? Apparently everything there. Trouble getting the wing on, speeding in pit lane, front wing damage. Deary me. 17 seconds now, the gap to Fred Vesti. I guess this will give us a good idea about how well the hard tyres will last. But we are in trouble. There we go, starting to see some cars diving into the pit lane then. Zhou Guanyu just in front of us will be boxing, so we need to try and find a way around Fred Vesti as quickly as we possibly can here. Won't be able to get a run back on him in towards turn 1, but we are going to be out ahead of Alonso. You can see Oscar Piastri, our main rival in the World Championship as well, just about will get out ahead of that Sauber car, so it is now or never up against Fred Vesti. Their big dive to the inside. And we know, obviously, Oscar, he will be a bit vulnerable as well, trying to get some temperature into those tyres. It looks like Russell has been able to build a bit of a lead as well, but obviously Charles Leclerc, I'm sure, will fill that gap. But, I mean, yeah, we're going to be on such worn tyres by the end of this race, and with the 10-second penalty, it's going to be a brutal second half of this race, probably as brutal as the first. Well, I've got no idea how I've just done that. New fastest lap of the day as we start lap 20. That's pretty good going. How is the fuel situation looking? We've still got about a quarter of a lap spare. As I said, I don't mind in the last couple of laps really having to lift and coast if I need to. The far more important thing, though, is not hitting that curb. And the gap to Alonso is going up. It might well be that we can't beat, Alonso and Leclerc. But if we can just be ahead of a few more cars further back, that would be fantastic. I think if I was Haas IRL, I'd be using Gasly just as a bit of a roadblock from a lot of other vehicles.
Okay, we've been given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race. Get your head down and let's get it done.
Well, that's not ideal. A 3-second time penalty added to our troubles there. Just could not quite get the car rotated in and bailed out of the chicane. I think, yeah, now our battle is with those Red Bulls a bit further behind. No, this is not reassuring. Fuel warning light now has just flashed up as well. So I think we've just gone and lost the DRS to Oscar Piastri, making our way through those final couple of corners. So things just going from bad to worse towards the end of the afternoon. Tyre temperatures as well are absolutely skyrocketing here. And unless we can get back in that range of Oscar, we're going to have to really calm down the pace towards the end to save the fuel we need. God, this race is painful, man. Everything, it feels like, has been thrown at us today. Well, George Russell then starting the last lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix after the little bit of controversial contact between the pair of us early on. He has never looked back this afternoon, and once again McLaren proving when things go well for them, no one can really touch them here. Oscar Piastri has a good pace towards the end of the afternoon. The frustrating bit for me is that if we've been able to keep up with him and we hadn't got that second penalty, we might be very close actually to still walking away with the podium this afternoon. But yeah, tyres just absolutely falling off. Fuel management as well. We are still in the red as we start this last lap, but I'm just hoping we should be able to beat out those Red Bulls by the end of the day here. I think Perez and Sargent have been having quite a lot of battles throughout the second half of the afternoon, but say in the last 3 Grand Prix, we carved the gap down to like 6 points to Oscar Piastri. He is going to have outscored me by pretty much 50 over the last 3 weekends. So obviously we've got the Belgian Grand Prix before the summer break, but yeah, the second half of the year, we need to absolutely find another level in this Haas car. Making our way through the final couple of corners though, George Russell will win the Hungarian Grand Prix. McLaren build back up a little bit of confidence in themselves as well there. Through the final couple of corners, I've really got to make sure I don't run out of fuel now, because we're actually down into the low fuel mode. One more corner to go though. P3 on the road despite everything that's happened. That's quite impressive. As we are out of fuel, will we still walk away with the points? I think we will.
Take care of the car on the way in.
The British driver will look up and see the checkered flag first. George Russell takes the checkered flag.
And the celebrations go on in Parc Fermé. You can see just how much this means to them. The team are absolutely mobbing their driver because you know that this keeps them in the title fight, and we now see what it means to them as a whole.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix. George Russell will take the victory there, just 6 seconds ahead of Oscar Piastri. 2 weekends out, well, the last 3 races actually, we've seen drivers able to build up a bit of a lead at the front of the order. Charles Leclerc, though, an unlikely podium for him when all is said and done, ahead of Alonso and Pierre Gasly there. And whether we picked up the 3-second penalty or the 10-second penalty, I think we were confined to a P9 finish when all is said and done. We do get the bonus point, though, for fastest lap, which I guess we can be pretty happy with as well there. Sargent does pick up the final points-paying position, just ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez there. Daniel Ricciardo, the only man who failed to see the checkered flag. That means, though, in the World Championship, Piastri now a 51-point buffer at the top of the table, now ahead of George Russell. We are 3 points further back behind the McLaren man. Gasly still in 6th there, now tied with Charles Leclerc. Don't think there's been really any other movers further down the roster. Logan Sargent now just 1 point back from Théo Pourchaire once again. Constructors-wise, McLaren 6 points now ahead of Ferrari. Been a tough weekend for Haas. Didn't score anywhere near as points as we should have done here. 35 now the deficit. Not insurmountable, but certainly not ideal either. Thank you all so much for watching nonetheless. I'm honestly just happy we survived and we picked up a few points with how the early stages of that race went. Yeah, get yourself subscribed and we'll be back very soon ready for the Belgian Grand Prix.